Michael McDonald. In your hollow. Oh, this is what me and my daddy listened to. Trust. No, because I get it. I've been on pods where I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. And then after a minute, it gets a little easier. But I think my show's even more chill than those shows. Because they do, I mean, I know there's not a knock at shows that do that, but like other podcasts that conduct very, like, the one thing I hate is, all right, introduce yourself to the audience.
You brought me here. What?
Why are we? Like, come.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wait, why do I have to? You, just like La-Clara said, you invited me to come on your program.
I know.
1, 2, they also don't, like, let's get to know each other and have them sit in.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess other people. Yes, of course. I got you sparkling because okay, good. Because I know some people know that, like, taste the difference between club and sparkling.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you mean, but it's not that serious.
Oh my gosh, girl, I may be moving back to Harlem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might. Girl, because I moved into my own apartment for this year, my first time, paying $2,000 nearly a month.
Too. It's a lot.
It's too much.
I might be moving because it's so much.
And you want to know what really took me over the edge, though? Were the bills.
It's so much.
The bills. Because I've always been used to splitting 3 ways or 2 ways.
Let me turn my phone off.
Oh, yes. Phone's on airplane.
Yeah.
That was new for me. That one for me was like, oh. That took me over the edge.
Yeah. I had a bad roommate situation before. And so I was just like ready to go.
What happened with that roommate?
She was just tough. It was like, it was just like ongoing attitudes and like fussing about like trivial stuff. Yeah.
I feel
and
that.
I was just like, I don't care. I just need to get out of here. And then a year later, I'm like, these bills.
Like, it's so great. Are you an introvert?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm a mega omega.
You are?
Yup. Oh, ask her.
I know, you don't seem like it.
It's all, I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud. YouTube just announced this week that they were going to funnel millions of dollars into small content creators that have podcast video on YouTube. You did? Oh, wow. So they went global with this news then, if someone who doesn't even consume podcasts like
and
that.
I saw it too. I think I sent it to you.
No, I learned this at my new job.
Only thing is, I feel like then they might, it might be like, we don't want you to put that up or that up. You know what I mean? Like they might censor people eventually.
Oh.
Because they've got their like shareholders in that.
I mean, that's what they did with all their other like more traditional content creators on YouTube.
Oh yeah, like what if you wanted?
If the listeners are listening to some picking, it's because I'm picking up fuzz from the microphone.
Oh, I see it.
But you make a good point.
Like if I would not want it, I would just take the long road. I don't know. If there was like a time period, like 2 years.
Kelly, I'm taking the long road.
I would do it for 2 years or something.
Kelly, I feel like we're taking the long road.
We are taking the long road.
What? We're taking the stairs, babe. Other people are taking the elevator.
I know.
Clara, how do we look?
I look so happy.
You do. You're wearing a great color.
Oh, it's so bright. I'm sorry if it's like.
Sorry.
I guess that's a part of the job, right? Like adjusting lighting.
That's La-Clara NYC, the Spanish croquette. We're hoping that all of this will pay off in the end.
It will.
You know, we've seen others do it.
Hoping.
We're planning. Yeah. For me, it feels kind of inevitable. Estamos en el wide. Mientras tanto, estamos en el wide. It kind of feels inevitable. I have a question for you. do you, as an artist, are you conscious of your abilities to the point where you think you're good? And is that something that you say to yourself every so often, or is it just an overarching, I've done this long enough, I know that I am, like,
yeah.
How do you feel about that?
As a painter, I do feel that way.
As a painter?
But as a musician, I feel like, why you like my music?
Now, is that attributed to the length of time that you have, strengthened this ability, or do you think it was a more natural ability?
For painting? Yeah, I think it was like a natural. I have been doing it since I was a kid. So it was like the first, like when you feel like something's yours, you don't care if other people like it, and you do it by yourself for hours. And then it just so happens that other people think it's cool.
What was the first thing you painted and you were like,
in my life?
Yeah, and that you first saw and you were like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, how do you even do that as a child? Like, I'm going to put this on paper with my hands using these materials, and there. How did that even start for you?
I feel like we all do that, right? As kids, you like draw something and you're like, look at what I did.
Now I'm gonna push back on that. There's something different. There are some savants. I've seen some children. Did you see Kim Kardashian's child, North? She painted like a Picasso. She's 8. Like, there's some also, Clara, put the photo here. Like, I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe Kanye is a genius. Oh, what's going on? It's genetic.
Maybe.
Like, I want to know if that was something that you possessed.
Oh.
Or did adults tell you? Or did adults hang your stuff up? Because as a kid, you may not know. But did adults kind of put a spotlight on you in school or something?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got that. It wasn't adults at first. It was like, kids at school that we had, like a science project or art project or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, can you draw mine? That kid? Or like, there's always that kid in class. Or they're like, can you draw mine? I should have been making money off of it.
Yo, for real. I would have, the painting, drawing, things of that nature are always things that I wish I had a natural knack for. I love makeup. So there's a way that I can, if I put enough hours and time into some kind of painting on my face, I can do kind of well, but never. It's kind of why I stopped doing makeup. I was a freelance makeup artist for a couple years. And I realized, I'm really not that good. And I could be better, but I don't care enough.
I don't feel that. I mean, look at my face. I really don't care as much about.
What do you mean? Wait, you're wearing makeup. You're beautiful. What are you talking about?
I mean, a little bit, but not like, like
you're saying makeup
like,
isn't something that
it's like caked on all the time. Like,
I cake it on. Oh,
but
3-layer cake.
It's like
red velvet.
People like it, and I'm like,
let's let the Bible babes. Bible babes are what we call our audience. They're our family. Bible Babe Nation here. Also, Clara, the Spanish croquettes in the building, guys. By the way, I was introduced to you by a Spotify playlist.
That's so crazy.
I don't remember what it was. Honestly, I was actually just thumbing through. By the way, your song, Have Your Way, is on our Bible Babe gospel songs, worship song playlist. Because I found your song, and you want to know why I picked it? Because there were songs that I didn't listen to. It was a long playlist.
Was it like driving something? I got picked on some random playlist.
Honestly, no, I don't drive. I'm scared of driving. That couldn't have been it.
A long drive playlist or something.
I don't know, but it was God sent because I clicked on that song, and it was because of your cover art.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the color. Purple is my favorite color. I love lilac. Clara put the cover here, which you also painted yourself. And I mean, let me send it to Claire because right now she doesn't even know what we're talking about. it was so beautiful. And I saw that
Thanks.
lilac color and the textures that you used.
Yeah.
It was just so beautiful. I'm literally listening to the song right now. Before, it's a part of my like recording ritual. If I know I'm going to come and record,
Really?
I listen to like 2 or 3 songs on a loop, and this is one of them.
Wow.
The fact that you're even here, and the fact that you're so humble and bashful, I'm like
so bashful. Like
every time I say, "Oh my God, I listen to your song," she goes, "You listen to my song?" Like, yeah. I think it's so great, and you're so hard to find. At least the music is not your art.
Yeah.
Your art, you're out there,
Yeah.
and you're open for commission. Please, Bible Babes, go to her website. What's your website?
It's kellyryanart.com.
All right, guys, that's the episode. Thanks for tuning in. No, with the show in terms of guests, here's the thing. I used to have a show called Super Trip Talk where I was very guest dependent, and I love conversations. I love connecting with people. I think it's great, yada, yada, yada. However, I don't think that's what I want to do for my podcasting career. I want to make content with people that I know and love and things that I'm really passionate about and make it fun.
Yeah.
Normally having guests, and I'm not, I trust me, we FaceTimed before and I got a vibe. But normally when I bring guests on, or in the past, it's been really tough to navigate a nice rhythm when I don't know of them too well, and maybe they're anticipating another kind of vibe, and I don't know. But that's dissuaded me from bringing on guests, and I gave myself some parameters. And the parameters for guests were, obviously, if they're referred, I want to meet them. I want to develop relationships with, people that I already know are cool, who tell me they're cool. Well, let's collaborate. That's awesome. The second thing is, if I really do rock with what they do. If I'm an actual fan, I don't care where you come from. I don't care if you are Doja Cat. I don't care if you are fulano de tal. I don't care if you are, if I rock with something you create. Yeah. I want to pick at your brain at least once, and hopefully gather a group of people that I can invite back. That's what I want for Bible stories. I want to have a core, maybe 20 people, and maybe repeat them every so often.
That's cool.
Because then the people also get familiar with people and they want to bring people back. Yeah. That's how I think that's how I want to do my podding. But so you don't feel as confident with your music?
No.
Is it is it vocally? Is it your instrumentation? Why?
I think it's I grew up pretty quiet. And so, I think that was, honestly, I think part of it is kind of this, when Paul says, in the Bible, I don't know.
Paul! We love Paul over here, yes.
Yeah, I'm do your listeners know who that is?
Yes, of course they do.
So when he says he has a thorn in his side to keep him from being conceited. Mm-hmm. For a long time I was what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be confident in a certain kind of way? And I realized as you get older, you do some therapy, you realize all my childhood stuff, surfaces, and so I realized there were some things that God allowed to kind of make me shrink or make me feel like I needed to shrink. And then it carried through. And sometimes you think as a kid or even a young adult or full grown adult, you're why did that have to happen? Or God, you were there, why'd you let it happen? And so, or continuously happen. And so I think it was in hindsight, I'm this was helping me to not be arrogant and
allow the Holy Spirit to possess your body.
And let me know that I needed God to do anything. Because if you can do a lot, we're made in God's image, so He puts a lot of himself in us that's really awesome. But life gets you.
in the way.
And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this sucks. And, you know, it can mold how you perceive other people or yourself or whatever. So I think with my voice and even sometimes like with my mouth, I just felt like it was really self-conscious and
Moses, Jeremiah.
I always think about Moses like, I cannot talk.
Father God, I am not an eloquent speaker. I am not an eloquent speaker, please.
And God's like, who made your mouth?
That part. Who's going to say the words that are going to come out of that voice box?
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
So you didn't start singing until later, though, because you painting and those that you've been doing since you were a child.
Yeah.
You didn't start singing until when?
I was 21, 22. And
you had never done choir, musical theater?
No.
Nothing before?
No.
That is wild to be bold enough. I mean, 21 is still young, you know. But when you're 21, you think you're the last person to start something. Why? So
why?
Like why? And also, I want to know why the guitar, and when did you know that was the time for you to start? Like, I'm so like, how did it start? I don't know, because I've been singing since such a little.
Because I was never like somewhat like a kid, you know, like it's my dream to sing, and I never had that dream like ever in my life, like not once.
Is so crazy because your song is so good. Did you start writing first? Did you start humming first? When you felt that humbling, that big humbling moment that I'm sure many other brothers and sisters in Christ have experienced, is that when you knew that you could sing? Was it a hum?
It just felt good. It was like I was working at this studio in Baltimore, and it was like right on the tails of the first time I like heard the voice of God. And I know that's confusing to some people, and I don't want to, because some people don't hear from God and they think they do. But it was literally like, I think I was always like seeking, like, what is God really, you know, like, and I think, I mean, it's true. Like, even the Bible says, like, if you seek me earnestly, like, you'll find me.
Matthew 7:7. And
I didn't know anything about that at the time while I was seeking, but I really was just like, you know, what is
asking
God for real? Like,
receive, seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be made available to you. Yeah. And that's that has to be it. You were already kind of planting those seeds subconsciously.
Yeah, I was going to church, but I was also like partying and doing all this stuff. And I was asking a lot of questions, but I never felt uncomfortable with asking. I was just like, oh, okay, I don't agree with that, but I'll check back in later.
What didn't you agree with?
It was just like different things. Like at the time, I think this is a random tangent. So to stop me.
Anytime you have a tangent, you have to say, hi, Tangy.
Hi, Tangy.
say hi, Tangy. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, that's every time?
Every single time.
It's me a lot.
And then if it's Tangy off a Tangy, you have to say hi, Tangy off the hi, Tangy.
Wait, is this the first episode that you're giving out the meaning of a hi, Tangy? Unconsciously?
Because I thought that's
what
that
we're going to do with that?
We're going to cut it out because you can.
So Clara, you know what we're going to do right here? Whatever just occurred right now, you are going to completely censor because we defined hi Tangy, and I take it back. I'm sorry, but now you know. And
no,
you don't.
I think I was like, I didn't grow up in a family that like taught like no sex before marriage or you shouldn't curse or like it was like general, like no, you shouldn't walk around cursing. Like nobody wants their kid. Like kinda, but it wasn't like kinda Catholic. We went to church every Sunday. It was just like the holidays, and it was loose, but it was like you need to pray or pray about this. If you want to read your Bible, you can. There's Bible in the house, but it's not like nothing was mandatory. And so, but eventually, like once I got out, like going to college and stuff, I guess honestly, like God will just call you. Now that I think about it, I wasn't doing anything. I would joke around. Like I would tell my mom randomly, I'm like, oh, that's so spiritual. Like I would just make weird jokes about spiritual things. And I don't know, eventually God was like, okay, you want to play around. And I remember there was this guy at a job I had, and he was like 34 or something, and he was like, I don't know how I found out, but he said he had a girlfriend in Jamaica where he was from. He was like, we're waiting till marriage. And I was like, you're 35 and like never? And I like, at that time I was, I don't know, 18. I hadn't either, but I just didn't know any 30 somethings. And I was just like, that's weird. So I had all these questions about how are people living certain lifestyles and wrapping it in the package of living for God. And I don't know why, but that just intrigued me. And I think I was just asking different people questions, and I was starting to go to church by myself. And yeah.
You were going, was that the tangent?
That was the tangent, because I'm like, what does that have to do with?
Well, I want to talk about celibacy
God?
for a second.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know, I agree with you, because girl, I was in the world. I was deep in the world.
Me too.
I was in the world. I was lost.
Me too.
And I was having, well, at least with me, I was having premarital sex with my boyfriends, and I think outside of one or two times, and I don't want to talk about it any further. Times they weren't. I wasn't in a relationship with them, but I remember thinking at the time, because in between those relationships, I wouldn't partake in sexual acts if I wasn't in a relationship with them. But I would in those lulls, I would be like, could you imagine if I was celibate and until marriage and I didn't have sex? Yeah, right. I remember thinking like I could never do that when I didn't have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And the way I adopted celibacy in my faith practice, in my strengthening my relationship with God, before I consciously knew that that's what I was vowing to do, it was just a way for me to compartmentalize emotions. Like,
I feel the same way.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like this was especially in the beginning of my coming to Christ, that kind of transitionary period.
Yeah.
I didn't know the vernacular that one uses. I was still kind of coming out of the world. But I remember thinking, when I have sex with men, I am not thinking clearly. When they are in my presence versus when I'm apart from them, two different Briandas. What's going on? And I need a bridge. Where is that bridge? What's that separation? And also, why do I feel like spiritual dread after being intimate with these men that are not my husband?
Even your boyfriend.
Even my boyfriends. And even if it felt great, even if it felt good, it wouldn't feel good.
Like in your soul.
Which I didn't know what soul was back then. Yeah. But yeah, I guess. And so at the beginning, I was just saying, oh, you know what? I want to get to figure out what remember I said what that separation is? I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back to it, right? So 3 months of abstinence turned into 4 months of abstinence, turned into a year. And I was already in the Word. It was the adoption of the Word that really brought me to my Romans bridge, to my this is my testimony. Oh, I'm building my testimony right now. So it happened kind of like domino effect. You know, faith really should be easeful. And it happens like you don't even, oh my goodness. Yes, that first, it's a deliberate choice, but boy, does it feel like effortless when you're in the Word. Certain aspects, not all of it. Oh my gosh, I have so much trouble. First of all, secular music.
I know.
Let's talk about struggles.
Okay.
Secular music. I'm from Boston, and my family, I was not raised in the church at all. I was like in the world heavy. I'm telling you, I like to tell it to the Bible babes too, like anyone listening. That is also a part of my testimony. I am not perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm not pastoral by any means.
Yeah.
Wait, share yours. What are yours?
My struggles?
Yeah.
I had a similar experience where it was like, really in love and very much probably like even codependent in some ways and like sexually active with that person, and then super single for like a long time. But then it was like, yeah, I guess you're right, because the times when I was like abstinent, it was there was like some word sprinkled in there. Like I had that. There was like a sermon. Like I talked to you before. Like a while. Like it was like a sermon that was given before I moved to San Francisco, and I was just doing the most. Like while I was singing, I had just got saved, like maybe 4 months in, and you don't know how to live for real. Like, it's like, what is living in Christ? Like, other than what you see other people do. And then if you don't have people in front of you who are actually like, really, they're young. Because it's easy to see, like, an old woman, you're like, well, yeah, nobody wants you. So, I mean, we're here. You're like, well, of course
Shade.
you're in church.
Shade.
What else are you going to be doing?
No, this reminds
as like a young adult, it was like, well, your life is simple. Like, you know.
Boy, were we wrong though.
You know.
I find myself, I think I said this a couple episodes ago, but I'm so taken by women over 40, over 50.
Right, yeah.
I follow so many of them on TikTok. The movies that I watch are around protagonists that are women over 50. I don't know what, like I'm inching my way there, you know? I'm seeing it. And I used to think that way in our early 20s. We were so arrogant.
So arrogant,
right? Like when you're in your early 20s, you think you got it all figured out and you have all the time in the world.
Yeah, and then it's gone.
Hey now. Your dreams is over. We used to do a lot of singing on the show. Ooh, wait. Can we do something real quick? Finish this lyric. This is a random thing I do with my guests just to, I don't know, lube us up. And I do it just because I don't know. Okay, finish this lyric.
Okay.
I'm making it a thing. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm trying to buy some time for myself. I'll just do the one that I always do with all of the guests. Okay. It has to be immediate. And if you don't, you lose.
What do I lose?
I haven't thought that far. Just give me a second. Okay. All right.
Hey now.
Your dream is over. That wasn't the song. That's cute. Okay. Ready? Shot to the heart. And you're to blame, darling.
Oh, you're in love in a bad way.
I take it. Those weren't the lyrics, but it had a whole lot of heart. And you half win. It's a shot to the heart and you're to blame, darling. You give love
a bad name.
But your lyrics were cute, babes.
You're in love in a bad way.
I'm okay with it. Okay, that was the end of the game. What I was saying before, and maybe some Bible babes can relate to it, but there's I see a lot of people, you know, calling themselves Christians. There are so many people calling themselves Christians, almost to the point where, like, I feel like it's this unspoken rule around Christians that read the word on a consistent basis, where we say follower of Christ.
You know, because
you know, like just as I don't want to qualify. We shouldn't be qualifying our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I was saying, when you are a new believer, whatever age you are, like anything in life that's new, you kind of need to see someone living it out, and not just, oh, I'm going to do what they do, but you need to feel that it's real.
Yes.
You need to feel like he died on the cross. You keep saying that over and over, and it's in every song. And like, well, what does that even, like, crosses don't exist anymore as a form of execution. He's this Jewish man from the Middle East. Like, I'm not Jewish. I'm not from the Middle East. What does that have to, how do you make it real?
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody taking it light, it's like, well, let me just do something else, because this requires...
I figured something out.
You know?
I figured something out, Kelly. And I think it's all in the way we communicate. And sometimes there are, like you said, there are babes in the faith and there are elders.
Yeah.
We need both,
yeah.
right? I think that what happens when you don't read the word, or when you take on the word and you haven't fully really grasped it,
yeah.
what happens is you have a ton of babies eating steak, when like babies should be drinking milk. You know what I'm saying? You got to start small.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of people try and like explain these really deep theological concepts to a crowd of babies.
Yeah.
The babies aren't ready for the steak, you know? And it's finding that middle ground of sharing. Again, I keep saying sharing your testimony and listening. It's so much of that is involved with that communication.
Yeah.
So much of the communication is silent even, and listening.
Yeah.
If you go down the comment section of any person evangelizing, it's like, even if they're a Christian content creator, you'll get people saying, oh, they're doing too much. Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, we're either doing too much or not doing enough. We're either Christians, followers of Christ. Again, you even just heard me say it. It's like, we need these qualities. Oh, thank you.
Just being a friend.
Oh, wow.
No.
I would want
Kelly,
someone to tell
hi,
me.
Tangi. Hi, Tangi. Kelly, the last time that happened, I cried. Oh, and then another episode with a guest, my lash was off of my eyeball, and we didn't know till after. I cried in the room. Ask Clara. Clara was so uncomfortable. I say all this to say, read your Bibles.
Yeah.
Read your Bibles, and then, and like, be around people that like can mentor you. Like, that's the only way I would have gotten to where I'm at.
No, same. I was like super like...
Were you insecure about praying out loud?
No, I was that was like the one thing I was cool with.
Oh, okay, well.
I think I was more uncomfortable at times saying I was actually Christian. It's not weird, yeah. Because it's such like, for some people that word is so triggering, and maybe they perceive it to be one thing, and then I'm like seeing it as a relational connection to God. But other people might see it as someone, relating to an experience that just wasn't
church hurt
that great. And then it may seem like I've been called like right wing or something because I am Christian. I'm like, I am not.
What?
like in America,
right-wing.
If you're a Christian, it's like a political thing. It's not just, you can't just have your
only
thing.
America.
Yeah, so it's not political. I mean, so yeah.
I guess I see why they would.
I can see why, especially if you're not Christian, because if you only see it in one way, or you see it mediated a certain way, then I guess I could see that. If you never read the Bible and absorb it through what the Holy Spirit is speaking to you, and you don't have a tight relationship with God through Christ that's real, I can see it being like, you're like those people.
Hey, Kelly. Sorry to cut you off. What are your thoughts on like Meg Thee Stallion? I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on?
So random.
I know, but what? No, I want to bring it back to music because that's a struggle. That's a struggle for me. I'm telling you.
The music.
I love the secular music.
It's hard. It's hard to like.
Do you not listen to any?
I do, but there was a time where God was like just pointing out to me I had like some issues with like lust. And I realized that, and then I don't know where I heard it, but someone was like, check your influences. And so what you take in is gonna influence you to be like that. And so I think it was around the time I was like a huge Beyonce fan. Like, oh my gosh, Beyonce.
You just triggered the conspiracy theorist. They're going to leave a comment.
Oh.
There's one girl that anytime I mention any of the Carters, she's like, the devil! The devil!
I mean, Beyonce's a person.
Enough.
But I think the music, I just remember like, I was like, I heard something that was like, watch your influences. And I kind of was like, oh, okay. And I realized the more, like, I was single. And at the time, like, I wasn't like, I'm going to be celibate for the Lord. I just wasn't seeing anybody. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm single. I'm not having sex. I'm okay with that. But the music I was hearing was like prompting me to like want to go call somebody.
Or like to go dance.
Or go out and like get with someone or something. And I was like, I wasn't really thinking like this until it turned this on. And I just realized.
I never felt like I was, even as a kid, and the opposite of you, like I've been singing since I came out of my mama's vaginal canal. Like always singing. But even then, I always knew that like, there were some people in my choir that maybe were stronger vocalists. So but that only made me want to write more. I'm like, okay, I'm not that good at that, but I'm going to be better at this girl's name was Nicole. I don't want to say her last name. She may listen. Oh my God, believe that! Lord, you see what I mean?
I see.
2 feet in both worlds. Pray for me. I mean that.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Yeah. But I got just writing. I love writing songs. That's what attracted me to you and your song. It's because you're a singer-songwriter. That's a whole nother genre. To tell a story in that way.
I mean, I still struggle with it a little. You're like, whatever.
I'm not going to lie to you. I could write a song. I don't know if I can sing anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm the best actor, but I can write a song.
I would love to hear your stuff.
Oh my God. I'll share.
Yeah.
I can share you the one of the last songs that I'm the most proud of. Well, okay, wait, no. I'll give you the very first song I wrote, and it had to have been like maybe Britney Spears had broken up with Justin Timberlake or something. It was the first full song that I wrote, and then I wrote down. And I think that the media narrative around Justin Timberlake and Britney at the time, I was such a Britney fan that I was like, I hate Justin Timberlake, like, whatever. And I wrote a song around my own parasocial relationship with these celebrities that I had no idea who they were. I was also a child. And the song I wrote was like for Britney. I was like, in my head, I was Britney.
Oh, okay.
This is how I used to write songs like other people. And the song was called So What? And the lyrics were, so what, it's over. So.
Sing it.
So what, it's over. So what, I'm bitter.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to worry anymore because I'm bitter. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And then, I wrote it over freaking 20 years ago. What?
I don't know what that is, like the sound of that time.
Anyway, so that was the very first song that I actually like put that like the role of someone who's been scorned. Like I'm like 9 years old, like yeah. And then, but the last one was my mom found my weed in my toiletries in 2020, 2019. I had visited back home and I had just like a little bit. I was going to go back home for like a couple weeks. I don't remember. And being back home always stresses me out. I don't come from the most like, peaceful family upbringing, I guess. And I was like, oh no, if I'm going to be there for the holidays, I'm going to need some weed. I don't smoke anymore. Yeah, I don't smoke now, but I love weed. And I may smoke it later. I don't know. I don't know. But I haven't smoked in over, I don't even know, since December I would say. I've also been sober
Last
since.
time you were home, pretty
Right.
much.
Right.
That's like a
But
struggle.
my mom found the weed, and I was actually smoking a J outside of my crib. This is a New England winter, okay? The snow is up to our knees this time of year. I'm smoking a J. I didn't want to do our backyard just because, I don't know. Oh, my mom could see the backyard from her bedroom. So I was like, let me go to the front yard.
Oh,
'Cause
so
it was the
she
complete
wouldn't
opposite.
know.
Yes. And I'm smoking a J, and I am flying high. I was so high. And all of a sudden, I hear, Muchacha de quiero! And I go, I already
This is
knew.
more stress.
I already knew. No, I already knew what it could have been. So I just said, let me enjoy this little last bit of this
Oh,
J.
no.
And I remember I took that last one and I just put it in the snow. I'll get in the snow. And then this woman, this Dominican 50-year-old woman is barefoot in her underwear, in una franela, in like a large t-shirt, no shoes. She's out there with rollers in her hair. And she goes, Buena tecata, encontré esa hierba en tu funda, muchacha del diablo. Debe salir de mi casa, coño. And she just said the most, honestly, I've never seen my mom say.
She was cursing at you.
But also she said some really.
Wait, she
like,
doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh,
I know
So
some
she probably
stuff.
just missed
Okay.
the whole last
Okay,
minute.
so for my non-Spanish speaking Bible babes, she came at my whole life
Yeah, I heard some stuff.
in the worst way, but also some ways that I've never heard her say. She let some things fly, and I already knew that I was a disappointment in some areas. They were confirmed that day, and but in that moment, I just remember feeling this really weird. Like, I'm trying to like play back. This is the actor in me. I'm like, oh, what was I feeling in that moment? It was like I couldn't, in that moment, I was like, I would say I was high, but you can imagine a moment like that is pretty sobering.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I was relieved that like the jig was up. Like, this is just who I am. Like, now you get to see me, face me, and you finally said some things that, okay, hit me, you know?
Harsh,
but
yeah.
then also, oh my gosh, that's the most hurtful. She's like my idol, and then having your idol like say that, like, it was really. So I was like in this limbo of severe hurt, but also like relief. And I was like, that's the when I want to write the most is when I'm like in a place of balancing two emotions is where all of my music, whatever I write, comes from the most freely.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm feeling. I got to figure this out before I spiral. Most importantly. And so I wrote a song called "The Truth Lies Sometimes," and I'm so proud of that one because I wrote it. It was, by the way, she found the weed on Christmas Eve of that year.
After that or before that?
It was before. She found it on Christmas Eve. I wrote the song in under an hour.
Oh, okay.
And which is also pretty quick to write.
Yeah.
I had a hook, a chorus, 3 verses, eliminated 1, 2 verses, all in under an hour. I would say it's pretty impressive for myself. But also the song was just really deep. The song was really freaking deep. And I didn't even intend for it to happen. That's when you know you got like, okay. And I played it for her on Christmas.
That's a lot going on.
Wait, but here's the thing. At this point, my mom and I were both on our faith walks. That's what's so cool to have your mother also be a sister in Christ. It's kind of cool. And we both came to, I was saved 2018. She was born again 2019.
Oh, so that's kind of recent.
Very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she, I sent her it on the phone and she sent something back. She was like, no está mal. Like, and normally my mom doesn't like my songs. She says that they're so like, I also have this other song about masturbation called All of My Toys. Which I've also shown her. All the stuff I play for her, she doesn't like, but that song she did. What was I'm trying to think. Maybe for anyone's on the Patreon, I've released some of them. I don't want to publicize them just because I'll release some of the fun stuff maybe for the fun ones, but I don't know if that's my bag. I don't want to. Music is so important and beautiful to me that I don't want to
like release it.
No, I don't have any desires to do that.
Really?
I don't think so. Maybe for live shows. I don't know. I'll get back to the song later. How do you feel about it? Because I know that you're a little shy babe with music.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day,
how many songs do you have out right now?
It's just this one, and I have some stuff on SoundCloud, but I don't even like publicize it much. I don't even know. It's like works in progress kind of stuff, and so it's nothing like studio recorded on SoundCloud. But
did you record "Have Your Way" in a studio?
A producer did his part, so it was like kind of over the end of quarantine stuff. So we weren't in the studio together, but I think a lot of musicians were sending tracks back and forth.
Kelli Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Please, I'll have your socials below and stuff, but for the audio, what's your Instagram handle? Where can they find you? What's your website?
Yeah, so it's Kelli Ryan Art. So it's Kelli with the I.
I love your art.
RyanArt.com. And then the same thing for my Instagram is at Kelli Ryan Art. But I need to start a music page soon.
Please.
So look out for that.
Yeah, please, Mama. Why not? Why not? We only live once. Yeah. I hate that expression. I've never said it before. It sounded weird coming out of my mouth.
I mean, it's true.
But you only live once. There we go. What happens in Vegas? I don't know why I said that either. Anyways, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you.
Circle round and round, trying to lock it down, trying to hit the note, trying to stay afloat. I know my pride was strong, but you kept holding on, told me to just let go and let you have control. You can teach me your way. You can teach me your ways. You can have your way. You can have my heart. I know I'm full of pride. I wanna get it right. Don't wanna make mistakes, but I'm just wasting time. Wasting time. I worry through the night, but you keep holding tight. You say I'm doing fine and I don't have to strive. What I want, you can teach me your way. You can teach me your ways. You can have your way. You can have my heart. You can teach me